Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. Really excited to have you all here. Hopefully this will be very fruitful and positive for all of you all. And if you have questions, we have time to answer them. So just to kind of give you the lay of the land for today, I am joined by Linda Markey and Elizabeth Chavez from DIR. I am Jessica Vannerty, Chief of Operations and General Counsel for GovRAMP, and I've worked very closely with these two lovely ladies and the DIR team as we have built our partnership between GovRAMP and Texas. And so today we just want to give you some updates on some happenings and changes to the program manual and really offer an opportunity for you all to ask questions. So we're going to go through a brief presentation just to friendly reminders, updates, changes, and then we will go ahead and open the floor for Q&A. Please feel free as questions come up. You can drop them in the Q&A now, and we'll begin to answer them at that point in time. So with that, I am going to kick us off with a quick reminder. So Texas and GovRAMP, we partnered back in 2022, and we were really excited to do so. Both GovRAMP and TXRAMP's goal is to increase the cybersecurity posture of the vendors that work for, in Texas's case, Texas, in our case, the nation. And really, we wanted to find ways that we help align so that we can really amplify that verify once and serve many methodology. And so since that time, we've obviously had several iterations as program manuals changed for TXRAMP, as our program has changed. And so we want to talk a little bit about those updates to the manual today. We're going to talk about the reciprocity process that has shifted over time. Many of you are probably familiar with how that works now, but just want to make sure that everybody is on the same page. And then finally, I'm certain all of you want to hear a little bit about DIR and Texas Cyber Command, and so I will happily pass it off to Linda to answer some of that or share some of that as we get to that point in the presentation. I do always like to start by level setting on language and terminology because there are a couple of differences across our programs, and so I want to make sure that everybody is speaking the same language. The first key difference is in the way that the term provisional or provisional status is used. So for purposes of TXRAMP, when you hear provisional status, you're going to be thinking about that first entry point into the TXRAMP program. The provisional status is going to provide a provisional product certification, permitting the agency to work with a vendor for that on that product for up to 18 months before they have to achieve to a TXRAMP level 1 or level 2 certification, depending on the contract requirements. As a note, when you are using GovRAMP to satisfy TXRAMP, there is not that 18-month expiration window, and we will get into why a little bit later, but really, it has to do with the fact that we're going to help you grow into that next status, and we want to make it easy and seamless for you to do so. And then for GovRAMP purposes, when we use the term provisional, we're actually going to say provisionally authorized. And what that is on the very far other end of the spectrum from the beginning, you are just one level down from our authorized status. It means you leverage an interconnected technology that hasn't achieved that GovRAMP or FedRAMP authorization, and so you're provisionally authorized instead of achieving the authorized status. So definitely want to know that there's a difference in that terminology there. The other key differences are around the impact level and how that we speak of them. So for TXRAMP, that's divided into two levels, a level 1 and a level 2 versus GovRAMP, where we have that low, moderate, and high. And you can see here, we're talking about public and non-confidential information versus that confidential regulated or those critical infrastructure types of data. And that where those fall in those levels and in the GovRAMP statuses, you can see here a level 2 is going to encompass our moderate and high, where that level 1 is going to equate to our low. So again, just like to make sure we're all on the same page as we're talking through these things. I think that's really important. And now we're going to just dive into the meat and potatoes of what we're here to talk about today. And that is the most recent program manual updates, which we are super excited about here at GovRAMP. Number one, most important thing to note is CORE has been added to the TXRAMP program manual, which we are very excited about. Ready has since been elevated from its level 1 certification status to that level 2 certification. We have not seen any changes nor needed any changes to the progressing snapshot or authorized statuses. Those still operate as they did before. You will get this PowerPoint afterwards. I know I'm going to get that question, so I'll start by saying that all these links are clickable for you, so you'll be able to directly find that newest program manual at that link there. And so I'm a visual learner. I don't know about anybody else. Sometimes it's helpful to really see how does this work in practice. And so what you'll see here is the stair steps of our system aligned to TXRAMP's program. So for purposes of GovRAMP, if you enter our program using that progressing security snapshot, you are then eligible for that TXRAMP provisional status. If you leverage core, ready, or authorized, provisionally authorized, you are going to be eligible for a TXRAMP level 2 status, which is a huge deal. It's really a wonderful pairing, if you will, of our program with the Texas program. It enables that you can really find the right size of that risk for you and for your product and still know that it's going to satisfy those TXRAMP requirements fully, which is really, I think, a big value. As I did mention earlier, that 18-month limitation on the provisional does go away if you're using our progressing snapshot program. Why is that? Well, partly because it's an engaged and active program, right? So every quarter we're letting Texas know you're still engaged, you're still doing something, you're still moving the needle forward to mature that product. Additionally, it allows for you to have enough time to ensure that you can get to a verified status, because what we talk about here at GovRAMP is you don't want to use that progressing snapshot program as your end destination. That's just your starting point. Your end destination should be one of these verified statuses. And so this allows you to continue to prove that you're progressing and to give Texas the confidence that they can continue to work with you, but also to know that you're going to move into one of those higher statuses. We do often get this question, I already have a TXRAMP provisional status. If I enroll in the progressing snapshot program, what does that mean for me? Well, what it means for you is that you can switch your provisional from that initial certification to one that is using our program to meet the requirement, and thus then give yourself that longer period of time to come into compliance with one of these other verified statuses. Okay, so we're gonna dive into operations.
Hey,
yep, go ahead,
Jessica,
Linda.
I'm sorry, this is Linda. I just wanted to add one thing, and I think this came up the last time we did this, was if you switch over, if that's the case, the use case, what you just said, if you switch over, then your compliance requirements are only to the GovRAMP program.
Yes.
So you won't be interacting with TXRAMP, you won't be completing any additional work, all of those types of things. You're then in the GovRAMP program, and TXRAMP will do reciprocity with whatever GovRAMP is reporting about your status.
Yes, that is a great call out. And we did get that question last time. So do know that it is truly meant to be a one and done. And that's why our partnership is so good and really helps each other and helps the providers to streamline their processes. Liz, did you want to add something? Oh,
Well,
hang on, go ahead. Go ahead. I got you.
Oh, sure. I'm making sure that the microphone is working okay. Yeah, no, just want to walk through a few things process-wise regarding TXRAMP certification. So yes, in the early days of the TXRAMP program, there used to be automatic reciprocity for TXRAMP certification, but since last year, that process has been updated for vendors to submit a reciprocity request. And that's to better help with intake tracking, queue management, and general record logging. So yes, in short, folks will need to submit a reciprocity request form to kick off that certification process. And there are two types of forms to note. So there's the general TXRAMP request form. So if your product is new and has never been on the TXRAMP list before and does not currently have a TXRAMP ID associated with the product, you will need to complete this form to request reciprocity for that new product. And then there's the status change request form. So if your product already has a TXRAMP ID, such as how you mentioned earlier, Jessica, if yours already has a provisional status, and then you're either moving from one GovRAMP status to another, or from a different verification to a GovRAMP status, then you will need to complete that status change request form. form. And so that is sort of just the gist of the key items that you'll need to complete for reciprocity. As far as, yes.
Oh, I was going to say, and one quick thing to note, because we do hear this from people, they go, I don't understand why I have to complete this very, very long form when I was already progressing and now I'm just going to core. The answer is if you're trying to complete a very, very long form and you already have a TXRAMP ID, you're on the wrong form. So we try to give you that as a heads up early. Now, if you complete the wrong form, then we'll work together to figure out how to resolve. But I do just want to bring that to everybody's attention. You're going to have a much longer form to fill out if you've never had a TXRAMP identifier before, the ID number. So just note that.
Yes, thank you for that, because that is a good
advanced
trick.
Yes.
Good. As far as timelines for certification processing, we do aim to process requests as soon as they come in, typically 3 to 5 business days. But depending on the queue and if there are any holidays in between, that could take up to 2 weeks for the product to be reflected on the TXRAMP list. Of course, if you're not seeing your product after that time, please don't hesitate to reach out and we'll be glad to follow up on status. And then in general, if folks have any questions about the forms or about the reciprocity process, feel free to reach out to us via our email, textramp@dr.texas.gov. And then for office hours too, for office hour, as Linda would say, which we host every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. So if you just can't get enough of the TXRAMP talk today, feel free to stop by and we'll be happy to answer any of your burning TXRAMP questions. I'll pass it over to Linda. Yeah.
Yes, Linda, I'm sure everybody is excited to hear more. So let me pass it over to you.
Well, so I'm happy to take any questions, but just for the quick rundown, in Texas during the last legislative session, we had statute Texas Government Code 2054, and they pulled out the requirements for the TXRAMP program from that DIR authorizing statute of 2054 and created Texas Government Code 2063, which created the Texas Cyber Command and moved the TXRAMP program under Texas Cyber Command. So Cyber Command was created by House Bill 150, took an effective date of September 1st of 2025. So Cyber Command is in existence. It is operating under Government Code 2063 with TXRAMP as well. Now, the legislation that actually outlines how the TXRAMP program and the function of the TXRAMP program is in TAC 202. That requires state agencies contracting for cloud services that they have a TXRAMP certification. It's in a lot of the agencies, the majority of the agencies' contracting language. It's in DIR's contracting language, and that will remain. And there were no legislative changes to TAC 202. So the program's the same. It's just now going to operate under Cyber Command. Our relationship with GovRAMP should not change. I see that going forward and continuing just to be in lockstep with the GovRAMP program.
Well, that is exciting news. I know that we are all waiting to see how kind of things shake out as time passes on, but we're really, really glad to be partners with you and glad to know that that doesn't change.
Yep.
We're going to dig in a little bit just to the how for you guys so that you have all this. Note again, this is in the PowerPoint. You will get this when the session is done. But before we dive into Q&A, a couple things that everybody should know. If you want to participate in our security program, which is what will then translate into that reciprocity with TXRAMP, you'll need to become a GovRAMP member. We have a variety of membership levels. The basic member is all you need to do in order to engage in our security program. It is very affordable, but know that there are other memberships if you're interested in doing more, being a thought leader, finding ways to really connect with the community. If you have questions around what this looks like in practicality, how your business gets started with the security program, please feel free to email at info@govramp.org and we will make sure you get connected with the right person. As I said before, you will get this so that you'll have these helpful links on hand. On the left side of the screen, you're going to see some helpful links relating to GovRAMP. On the right-hand side, you'll see those related to TXRAMP and DIR. These are really, really valuable resources. I commend TXRAMP and the DIR team because they're the amount of resources that they provide for you all to help guide you through these processes are wonderful. So I just strongly encourage that if you're just getting new into this and you're not real clear or sure of what you need to do, yes, reach out to us and we're happy to talk you through it, but also know that there are so many great resources on that DIR website for you. After today, if you have TXRAMP related inquiries and you want to speak with someone from that DIR team specifically, please feel free to reach out to that TXRAMP@DIR email. For any GovRAMP related questions or questions where you're not sure where they need to live, you can feel free to reach out to that info@GovRAMP email, and we can connect you to whoever we need to connect you with if we're not the right landing pad for that question. So want to make sure you have all these things at your fingertips so that you can feel empowered to move forward on your next journey.